Here's a truth that most car dealerships don't want you thinking about too hard. Most modern vehicles are not built to last. They're built to impress on the test drive, in the showroom, in the first 3 years. After that, the repair bills start arriving. The transmission hesitates, the electronics act up, and before long, you are staring at a trade-in offer that barely covers what you owe.
But here's what's interesting. There's a small group of SUVs that completely defy that pattern. These are vehicles where real owners, not just reviewers, not sponsored content, but actual everyday drivers have documented crossing 250,000 miles, 300,000 miles, in some cases pushing well past 400,000 miles with the original engine still running.
Way to number 1, the single most durable SUV ever built, according to long-term ownership data, mechanic reports, and reliability studies. Stay with us until the end, because number 1 might genuinely surprise you, and it could save you from making a very expensive mistake on your next purchase. Let's start with something big, and we mean that literally. The Chevrolet Suburban is one of the longest-running nameplates in automotive history, and there's a reason it has survived for nearly 9 decades. This thing is built like a bunker on wheels. The Suburban rides on a body-on-frame platform, the same construction philosophy used in heavy-duty trucks. That's significant because it means the structural load of daily driving, towing, and rough roads is absorbed by a dedicated ladder frame, not the body panels themselves. The body stays tight, the drivetrain stays aligned. Real-world ownership data confirms what mechanics have said for years. Documented examples of Suburbans pushing past 450,000 miles exist. Fleet operators, rural families, and commercial users have leaned on these trucks for decades and kept them running with nothing more than consistent oil changes and routine service. The Suburban earned its spot on this list not because it's flashy, but because it simply refuses to quit. But the next SUV on this list shares a lot of that same DNA, and for some buyers, it's an even more compelling package. Now, this next vehicle is in many ways the Suburban's sibling, and that's exactly why it belongs here. The GMC Yukon shares its platform, its engine, and its core engineering philosophy with the Suburban. But what makes the Yukon worth calling out separately is the way it blends truck-grade durability with a slightly more refined ownership experience, and still manages to reach the same extraordinary mileage figures. Owners have reported crossing the 300,000-mile mark in Yukons that were primarily used for towing, a use case that typically shortens the life of lesser vehicles. Yet, with proper maintenance, the Yukon's drivetrain handles sustained load without the premature wear you'd see in less capable SUVs. The body-on-frame construction once again plays a critical role here, and the GM 5.3-liter V8, shared with the Suburban, has a well-documented track record of longevity, even in high-demand environments. What mechanics often say about the Yukon, the problems that do show up tend to be minor and predictable. That matters. A vehicle that breaks in small, fixable ways is far easier to keep alive than one that breaks suddenly and expensively. Now, if GM holds down 2 spots on this list, you might be wondering which brand comes next. The answer is American, but it's from a completely different manufacturer. The Ford Expedition doesn't always get the credit it deserves for long-term durability. It's often overshadowed in reliability conversations by Japanese competitors, but the ownership data tells a different story. The Expedition sits on a body-on-frame architecture, the same structure used in the Ford F-150, which is the best-selling truck in America for a reason. That shared platform means the Expedition benefits from decades of truck engineering refinement. Earlier models equipped with the 5.4-liter V8 have proven particularly resilient at high mileage. Owners who maintain them properly found that the engine kept delivering well past 300,000 miles. Later models with the 3.5-liter EcoBoost produce impressive power, though the turbocharged setup introduces slightly more complexity, something worth considering if your goal is maximum longevity. Real-world examples of expeditions hauling families across the country through rough terrain and into high-mileage territory are well documented. The secret, as mechanics will tell you, is simple. These trucks reward maintenance. Neglect them and they'll let you know. Take care of them and they'll go and go. The expedition earns its spot here not through flashy engineering, but through proven, truck-tested durability in the real world. And the next SUV on this list is its closest domestic competitor, and it has the data to back up every claim. The Tahoe is the Suburban's slightly smaller cousin, and it brings every bit of the same durability in a more manageable size. What's remarkable about the Tahoe is how consistently it appears in long-term reliability discussions. Owners report reaching 300,000 miles and beyond with minimal major repairs. Some have even described keeping their Tahoes on the road for close to 30 years, a figure that speaks not just to mechanical durability, but to how fundamentally sound the platform is. Like the Suburban, the Tahoe rides on a body-on-frame chassis and uses the 5.3-liter Vortec V8, an engine that has become almost synonymous with dependability among American truck platforms. The combination of proven power plant and truck-grade construction gives the Tahoe exceptional resistance to the kind of fatigue that wears out lesser vehicles. Police departments and government fleets have long relied on the Tahoe for exactly this reason. These agencies don't choose vehicles based on marketing. They choose vehicles based on cost per mile and expected service life. The Tahoe consistently earns that trust. Now, speaking of trust, before we continue into the top 6, I want to pause for a moment, because this is relevant if you're actually considering buying any of the SUVs on this list used. If you're watching this list and thinking about picking up one of these SUVs on the used market, and honestly, that's one of the smartest moves you can make, there's one step you should never skip before handing over your money. Run a VIN report. A vehicle history report will show you accident records, whether the odometer has been rolled back, how many previous owners the vehicle had, and whether there are any hidden issues that the seller isn't mentioning. A Suburban with 280,000 well-maintained miles is a great buy. A Tahoe with 180,000 miles and 3 unreported accidents, that's a completely different story. We've linked a trusted VIN report service in the description below. It takes about 2 minutes, and it could save you thousands. Check it before you buy every single time. Now, back to the list. Now, this next vehicle represents a significant shift on this list, from full-size, body-on-frame American trucks to a refined, Japanese-engineered crossover, and it absolutely belongs here. The Honda Pilot is a unibody SUV, meaning the body and frame are integrated rather than separate. In most contexts, that would reduce long-term durability, but Honda's engineering philosophy compensates in a different way: extreme conservatism in the powertrain. The 3.5-liter V6 at the heart of the Pilot is one of Honda's most celebrated engines. It is naturally aspirated, no turbochargers, no forced induction, which keeps the mechanical complexity low and the failure rates even lower. Honda tunes this engine for reliability above all else, and the results speak for themselves. Pilots routinely reach 250,000 miles with nothing more than oil changes and scheduled maintenance. Reports of 300,000-mile Pilots exist, and the ownership immunity for these vehicles is remarkably positive about long-term costs. Compared to European crossovers in the same class, the Pilot's repair bills are minimal. It's the kind of vehicle that mechanics describe with a single phrase: it just works. But the next SUV on this list takes Honda's reliability philosophy and fuses it with the off-road capability of a body-on-frame platform wrapped in a luxury badge. Here is where things get interesting. The Lexus GX is a luxury SUV, but underneath that premium interior and refined exterior is something far more rugged than the price tag suggests. The GX is built on a body-on-frame platform, derived directly from the Toyota Land Cruiser Prado. That's a truck chassis, the same kind of architecture you'd find beneath work vehicles built for brutal conditions. The naturally aspirated V8, or in later configurations, a refined V6, is engineered to Toyota's standards, which means it is built with generous tolerances and a strong focus on long-term mechanical integrity.
Lexus adds layers of sound insulation and premium materials, but the mechanical core remains fundamentally overbuilt. GX owners regularly report crossing 300,000 miles without significant drivetrain failures. Off-road enthusiasts who have tested the GX in genuinely demanding terrain come back impressed not just by its capability, but by how little it seems to wear down under pressure. The GX offers something rare, genuine luxury paired with genuine durability. Most luxury SUVs force you to choose one. The GX doesn't. Now, this next vehicle on our list is a different kind of durability story, one built around simplicity rather than luxury. The Subaru Forester earns its place on this list through a different kind of engineering philosophy, one centered on simplicity, symmetry, and the kind of all-weather capability that keeps these vehicles in service long after competitors have retired. At the core of the Forester is a horizontally opposed boxer engine, a design where the cylinders lie flat on either side of the crankshaft rather than sitting upright. This lowers the center of gravity, improves balance, and reduces vibration. The result is an engine that experiences less mechanical stress per mile than a comparable upright four-cylinder. Paired with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, a system so robust it's used as a standard feature rather than an upgrade, the Forester builds a reputation for going places other SUVs in its class can't, without paying for it mechanically over time. Documented examples of Foresters reaching 300,000 miles are well established in the ownership community. Subaru forums are filled with owners posting photos at 200,000, 250,000, and beyond, often with nothing more dramatic than routine oil changes and timing belt replacements. For a compact SUV, this is remarkable, and it tells you something important. Durability isn't just about size, it's about engineering philosophy. And speaking of engineering philosophy, no brand on this list embodies it more consistently than the one behind our next 3 SUVs. We are now in the top 3, and all 3 belong to the same manufacturer. That tells you everything you need to know about which brand has most consistently solved the long-term durability equation. The Toyota Highlander Hybrid might surprise some viewers at this position. Hybrids, after all, are often assumed to be more complex, more to go wrong. And in some cases, that assumption is fair, but Toyota's hybrid system is something different. Toyota has been refining its hybrid technology since the late 1990s. The system in the Highlander Hybrid is not an experiment. It is a mature, thoroughly tested powertrain that has proven itself across millions of vehicles and hundreds of millions of miles. The regenerative braking system actually extends the life of the brake components. The electric motor assists the combustion engine, reducing the load it carries and allowing it to operate in a more efficient range more often. The result? Owners report reaching 250,000 to 300,000 miles and beyond, with battery packs that outlast early predictions, and engines that show surprisingly little wear for their age. Toyota quality runs deep in this vehicle, and the hybrid system, far from being a weakness, may actually extend the engine's life by reducing the stress it would otherwise carry alone. But as impressive as the Highlander Hybrid is, the next SUV has been described by mechanics as nearly indestructible. If you've spent any time around serious off-road communities, overlanding enthusiasts, or high-mileage vehicle discussions, you already know what's coming. The Toyota 4Runner is by nearly any measure one of the most beloved high-mileage SUVs ever built. And the reason is straightforward. Toyota engineered it with the same philosophy they apply to their commercial trucks. It is built to work, built to last, built to be repaired in the field with basic tools if necessary. The 4.0-liter V6 at its heart is one of the most respected naturally aspirated engines in automotive history. No turbochargers, no direct injection complexity, just a robust, well-engineered 6-cylinder that has been documented crossing 350,000 miles with regularity. Owners have reported 400,000-mile examples. Some claim even more. The body-on-frame construction means the 4Runner handles abuse, whether that's years of highway miles, off-road trails, or commercial use, without the structural fatigue that eventually compromises unibody vehicles. The frame stays stiff, the drivetrain stays aligned, and the engine keeps running. Mechanics who work on these vehicles frequently describe them with the same words: minimal electronics, simple design, easy to repair, hard to kill.
In an era of increasingly complex vehicles with increasingly short service lives, the 4Runner is almost anachronistic, and that, it turns out, is a feature, not a flaw. Before we reveal the #1 spot, consider what all of these vehicles have in common. It's not brand loyalty, it's not marketing, it's something more fundamental, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But first, let's talk about the SUV that has more documented high mileage examples than almost any other vehicle on the planet.
Think about what you've just heard. 10 SUVs, different sizes, different brands, different price points, and yet they share something that no amount of marketing budget can manufacture. They were built conservatively, naturally aspirated engines that prioritize reliability over peak power numbers, body-on-frame platforms that distribute stress across a dedicated structure, simple drivetrains with fewer electronic dependencies, and in every case, a manufacturer that chose long-term mechanical integrity over short-term performance headlines.
You don't reach 300,000 miles by accident. You reach it because of decisions made in an engineering meeting 20 years before that odometer reading, and the vehicle at #1 reflects that truth more than any other on this list.
Number 1. The Toyota Sequoia. When I see cars and other long-term reliability research organizations began tracking which vehicles were most likely to reach 200,000 miles and beyond, the Sequoia consistently ranked at or near the very top. Not just for SUVs, for all vehicles. Here is what sets the Sequoia apart. The earlier Sequoia, particularly generations equipped with the 5.7-liter V8, shares its platform with the Toyota Tundra, one of the most durable pickup trucks ever sold in the American market. That means the Sequoia doesn't just borrow truck-inspired styling, it is, in structural terms, a truck, a body-on-frame, full-size, overbuilt truck that happens to seat 8 people in considerable comfort. The 5.7-liter V8 is naturally aspirated. It is generously engineered, with tolerances built to accommodate far more stress than the average family SUV will ever apply to it. The result is an engine that mechanics have described as genuinely difficult to wear out through normal use.
Documented examples of Sequoias crossing 350,000 miles with original drivetrains are not exceptional. They are expected. Owners in high-mileage communities regularly post odometer photos at 300,000, 350,000, and beyond, often with nothing more dramatic than oil changes, fluid maintenance, and the occasional belt or filter replacement. This is not luck. This is the result of Toyota engineering the Sequoia with a margin of safety so large that regular use barely puts a dent in it.
So there you have it, 10 SUVs. One clear pattern, from the Chevrolet Suburban at number 10 to the GMC Yukon, the Ford Expedition, the Chevrolet Tahoe, the Honda Pilot, the Lexus GX, the Subaru Forester, the Toyota Highlander Hybrid, the Toyota 4Runner, and finally, sitting at the very top of this list, the Toyota Sequoia. What do these vehicles teach us? That durability is not a mystery. It is not a happy accident. It is the result of naturally aspirated engines built with generous tolerances, body-on-frame platforms that separate structural load from body flex, simple drivetrain designs that prioritize reliability over complexity, and manufacturers who resisted the temptation to chase short-term performance numbers at the expense of long-term mechanical integrity.
Thanks for watching. Drive smart and take care of your vehicles, because the best ones will take care of you right back.